Hello to the greatly awaited sequel to the Cyberpunk thing from me, YouTube sensation, the Galactic Agent. I was going to do one where I would add in footage from my friends Aurora and Owen when playing Cyberpunk, but I can't just put in things from PS messages. So instead, we have Aurora to talk about it. So say hi, Aurora, for like the billionth time that you've been on the channel.
I exist, it's me.
It's her. She's AJ relevancy on pretty much everything. So, what are your thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077?
Um, it's it's a game that exists, and you know, it, it, that's about, you
That's
know,
about it.
it, it, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
But here's the thing with it existing. Should it? In your humble opinion, should this game exist?
Hypothetically, if in some universe it worked, yes, it should. However, this current universe and liminal space that we're living
This game fucking sucks.
in. Exactly.
And here's the thing. Even if this game functioned, it still wouldn't be a good game in my opinion. Like, it wouldn't be what it was. Oh my god, I'm playing Cyberpunk, as background stuff. Aurora can't see this. This isn't being shared. There's already bugs. I saw
Oh
through the
crap.
world for a second. Oh my fucking god. I love this.
It's a magnificent game.
It's so good.
Like when I play it, I just get so full of
Joy and happiness.
eh, like such arousal and
Okay,
like
that's a little too far. Too
no,
hot for
it's not.
YouTube.
No, it's not.
You can talk about that on your Twitter.
Alright, I'll do it later.
Also, a big thing with patch 1.3, if you're driving down the street, which I currently am, everyone's missing. Like, there's no cars, there's no people, everyone's gone.
To the map
They're
charge.
all quarantined.
Oh, that might work.
Do you remember when they showed the original Cyberpunk footage and it was like realistic crowd density? And it was like,
Yeah.
this massive crowd and these big swaths of people walking by. Yeah, there was one guy there. I really hope he's enjoying his stroll because everyone else is gone. Well, there's that one guy there that I ran over, but in all fairness, he didn't show up until I got here. So, you want to talk about it? I know this might seem like a hard thing to talk about considering this is such a refined game. For only people with the best tastes in RPGs, and, highly refined games. What bugs have you experienced of
Oh
note?
God. It's genuinely difficult to count. So many,
Hmm.
far too many. One of my favorites being the Invisigun. That one was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's on Twitter, right?
Yeah, tweeted that.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's not the worst one I've had because it wasn't game breaking. I mean, it would have been if it was, a lot worse with all my guns going invisible because they couldn't fire when they were invisible.
Yeah. So
It
you
was just
just
the
were
one
finger
gun.
gunning.
Yeah, it was just the one gun, and it came back when I switched weapons. Um,
Fair enough. Speaking of weapons, there's this one thing that we talked about because we were like, why does
yeah,
it say this when we can't? Johnny Silverhand's gun. When you get it and it says, "Oh, do this for a charged shot," or you're playing as Johnny, it says, "Hold this for a charged shot." You hold it and it has no charged shot.
no, it just does a regular shot.
It doesn't change and it's still there. And like at this point, 8 months after the release, you would have thought they fixed a text mistake. You'd think.
That's assuming that is what it is.
I don't know what it could be.
Because it could be that they forgot to put in the function.
You know, I, I wouldn't be surprised if they just took out that function.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that were supposed to be in this game that just aren't. Oh, hold on. I entered the white void. Well, just the void. I don't know why I specified the white void. Um, I saw through the world and there's no sound.
Great.
There's the sound of V. Oh, now everything's kind of coming back in. Never mind.
I
Everything's back.
I want to take this time to state how I think this game's fantastic, and I don't think a single thing needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing you can't fault Cyberpunk for. There's two things. One, it exists.
Yeah.
And two, now we have something to compare every single game release to.
I
Like,
mean, the gunplay is pretty fun.
yeah, when you can see your guns and it function. Oh, I
Yeah,
just climbed
that
into a
too.
low poly mesh of Johnny's car. The door didn't open. Oh my fucking god. Um,
Again, the game, it's a work in progress currently, so I'd really appreciate it if you didn't, say too much bad stuff about it. And
here's the thing. Yandere Simulator's finished, apparently, according to the dev. Will that, like, function better than Cyberpunk 2077? Because,
find out in part three.
oh Jesus fucking Christ. If I had a PC, absolutely. If I had a PC, the fucking, that Cyberpunk video essay would have been twice as long. Because I would have been able to edit it the way I want. And not been confined by the Share Factory. Oh, there's random grass that's flying out of nowhere. Love to see it. We love to see it.
Truly, man,
This is... I think this is mankind's greatest achievement.
it is humanity's magnum opus.
Yeah, we now know what it feels like to be a criminal in Night City. Police
Getting
teleporting
caught.
behind you. By the police teleporting behind you.
Yeah. In the
I...
times that I've played it, I've done fuck all criminal activities. Other than murder, I guess, but
Neither have I. But here's the thing. You do criminal activities, and it's not like, oh, you killed these gang members, that's still murder, you killed them, the police are after you, so you have to make a crafty escape. They just don't care. Nothing you have has weight, it feels like. Like, no meaning.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I just got a message from Delamain saying that I have discovered the meaning of life. Cool, I don't give a fuck. Uh, that's a message I could just send back. The world's a great iron prison. No, iron is strong and it serves a purpose. And as far as I'm concerned, iron doesn't break out into several glitches.
I mean, I've seen blacksmiths at work.
Blacksmithing is such a fun job, you just hit shit until it's right.
Yeah. Seems kind of stressful if you don't get it right, though.
Yeah, because then you have to redo it. Sounds like pottery, but anyways, that has nothing to do with Cyberpunk. This isn't a fucking podcast.
Cybersmith.
Cybersmith! Jesus. So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think could make Cyberpunk a better game? Other than,
Functionality.
the obvious. Yeah, that one.
Um,
Like, more than the bare minimum.
Honestly, the main issues are just like it wasn't what they promised, and the glitch is
Mm.
like just be cool if it was an RPG.
Yeah. Which, which was the thing everyone was expecting.
And promised.
Yeah, and it was shown. Do you remember when they actually said that the PS4 ports and Xbox ports said that they ran surprisingly smooth?
Mm.
I'm just gonna remind you that it didn't.
It ran.
It was
No, it didn't.
blurry.
It crawled.
No, not even that. It was like you got a man who had walked through the desert for 7 days,
Jesus.
very dehydrated. You cut off both of his legs and one arm, and you put him on a racetrack, like a 30-meter racetrack, and you asked him to get to the finish line before he died of blood loss and or dehydration. That's how it ran. In my very colourful words.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It did try to exist. It just didn't do it well.
Yeah.
Like, I ran at a solid 10 frames. Everything looked blurry. And everything was ugly. And I played over 100 hours of that game out of spite. And then I came back and played like 50 more. Out of spite. I think...
Sheer hatred for yourself.
Nah. Not myself, just this game.
Yeah.
My self-loathing has nothing to do with this project. Speaking of which...
Oh no.
CD Projekt Red. How do you think they could survive this event? Like, do you think that this will forever be like a massive scar that's eventually, healed over? Or will it forever just be like a gash in the side of the company?
Well, it's just not gonna fix it, is it?
Mm.
It's just not something they're coming back from, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, because they did make, like, Witcher 3, which is one of the greatest games I've ever played. Even though there's, like, another thing that sucks is, like, there's been, like, reports of, like, abuse and bullying behind the scenes of Witcher 3 and any game that they've created, which sucks, because, I didn't get into it much in my video, because I really don't feel qualified enough to just, like, say what I think I've heard, or, like, what I heard at the time, then type it in without doing a lot of research, because I was mainly focusing on the gameplay and the game itself, and not being able to, like, put up screenshots of the sources, because I'm on PS5 Share Factory, or put in sources, because I can't do it in the description of PS5 Share Factory. I phased right through those things. But apparently there's, like, a horrible... There wasn't a great hierarchy on some of the games. And it's sad and it sucks, and I don't think CD Projekt Red are going to really recover. Or even just this game. Like, I want to go back to a point I made in the original video, and that's the whole No Man's Sky thing.
Yeah.
I watched this video by Some Ordinary Gamers, like, Mutaha, and he was like, he compared it to that, and he worded it. He basically said what I said, but more efficiently, written.
Yeah. I said it cooler.
I said it first. But yeah, it's like he said that No Man's Sky is an open source, open world game where you go from one planet to another. And like kind of just branching off of that, yeah. So if you add in settlements, that's no big deal because you can just go to a planet and it's gonna have some life. So settlements. Or like you can revamp the story because nobody really minds the story of No Man's Sky. Like you can do all that for that game because it's so open source. It's basically a sandbox.
Yeah.
Like it's you have some missions, do them if you want, I guess. Do the tutorial if you want, really. Like if you want to complete it. And then it's just like, here's a ship, go do stuff.
Go fly, go kill things, go make base.
And it wasn't really a game that was. It didn't really have a lot of trailers for its story mode. Let's just say
Yeah.
it was mainly just the sandbox, which now has a lot in it. So it's like, yeah, there's settlements and byte beat library where you can make your own music. Yeah, and it's cool that you can do that now, and it makes sense because it was just added into the game. Because it could just be added into the game. Cyberpunk as a product was marketed via its story and its RPG elements. And its story is way too short. It's like 8 hours long, like 5 to 8 hours long. The main reason for that was like, oh, people complained that The Witcher was too long. I didn't see any complaints that The Witcher was too long. The only things that I saw were people, instead of doing the main story, they instead did all the side stuff because they put in side stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of making it, a decently sized game, they made it way too short. There's Mario games longer than this. The RPG elements don't exist except for one mission, which was surprisingly, the mission that was shown in the 45-minute gameplay trailer, the Maelstrom, and yeah, that just happened, and I was like, wow, my choices really matter. Oh, you had a bug right after that mission, didn't you, with Jackie?
Oh yeah, where he drove off on his bike.
Yeah.
And then the character despawned, but the bike didn't. So the bike was
Yeah.
just vibing in the middle of the highway.
So basically, to paint the picture to whoever's listening to this, probably Flying Rat. They're a real one.
A real one. A real homie.
Yeah, they are. I love them. Although I do not know who they are. And you just finished that mission, and you had to go to Evelyn, right?
Yeah, no, I think that was it.
And you're like, oh, I'm just going to go up the street that Jackie took. And you went that way, and Jackie's bike was there, yet Jackie was nowhere to be seen. He left the game.
Motherfucker disconnected.
He had LAN issues. Oh, speaking of Cyberpunk, because I've been doing all the Death Stranding stuff recently, which came with Cyberpunk and Half-Life stuff, I had so much more fun doing the Cyberpunk stuff in Death Stranding than actually in the Cyberpunk game.
That's fair.
Because there was a tangible sense of progression, and that I'm doing the thing right, and it worked and functioned. And at the end of it all, I actually got a metal arm, which is something that Cyberpunk doesn't let you do. Because, sure, you can get mantis blades or gorilla arms, but you can't go full Borg,
Yeah.
Which, because, when it was all being announced at the time, I was a massive CD Projekt Red fan, of course I was defending, oh yeah, it's to do this and do that. Even though they showed, the human factor was shown in one of the things, and that never comes into play. I think they just cut that for time, and all the stuff they had to do, wall running. I am now convinced they simply cut due to get the game out on time.
Can see that being the case.
Yeah. So instead of being able to get fully chromed out and look cool but have a low human factor, which could have affected the RPG storytelling, we can get cool arms. And we can get a double jump, which, little nitpick, if you get any cyber stuff that affects the legs, it doesn't show up on the legs.
Huh.
And also, you can't customize your character after you've done the character creation screen.
Yeah, that part hurts.
Almost a year later. Oh yeah, isn't there a major fucky wucky with your character right now that you want to describe?
It's
in vivid detail.
It's more just the character customization in terms with outfits and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not a bug, it's just kind of shitty design, I guess.
Hmm.
But like, there's no customization to what you're wearing. It's just put on the shit with the best stats. You can't change the look of it unless you're wearing one of those like one piece full outfits that just revamp the entire thing. But then again, you can't even customize them.
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks because like when I created my character, I themed it with being like, hey, I'm gonna have kind of like a bluey kind of theme.
Mm.
Like, you know, the blue hair, blue lips, blue eyes, blue um eyeshadow, blue nails. And then it was like, okay, cool, 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 cool. Um, Now your outfits are going to be random colors.
That you can't change.
Is that cool?
And then you can't even be like, I made my character in this style to wear like maybe black and blue outfits or blue outfits. Now I can't. Oh well, might as well go to like a Saints Row images designed and change my character.
Hmm.
Like, on my screen, I have photo mode up with my character's face. I'm tired of looking at this sad old mug all the time. I want to change his hair, I want to change how he looks, and I can't. Because the game won't let me. And,
I mean,
yeah, hmm?
you couldn't even do that in Fallout 4, could you?
You could do it in Fallout 4.
Could you?
Yeah. Which, I am really sad to say that Fallout 4, a game I notoriously don't like for like the story and things that it has in gameplay apart from the gunplay. uh, you can go to Diamond City and go to Doc Crocker and be like, hey, I want to change my face. Or you can go to the barbers and be like, hey, I want to change my hair and my hair color.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You could do that in Fallout 4. You can't do that in this game.
Which is kind of a problem, IMO.
Yeah. And also, speaking of that, it really shows how it, like, reflects how far CD Projekt Red have fallen.
Yeah.
Because, like, Cyberpunk, well, not Cyberpunk, Jesus. The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4 came out in the same year. And Fallout 4 was like, panned because it didn't have a good story like the Fallout games. It neutered all the story choices. The story was kind of bland and nothing. None of your choices really mattered, and all it like really came to was an ending where you had a like one choice. Well, kind of just two choices. It's like Life is
Yeah,
Strange one
yeah.
all fucking over again, and kind of True Colors. But that isn't. This isn't a discussion about those games. Uh, and then The Witcher 3 came out, and you could role play as, whatever kind of Geralt you wanted. You could play her, you could do all this stuff. The story was good. Good things happened. The game looked great, which Fallout 4 did not. Uh, and people were like, whoa, this small studio are like way better than the pros. Let's follow this. And then, Witcher 3 got its hype and infamy. Well, not infamy, just, I guess, fammy. Because it's famous.
Oh my god.
And then, people were like, man, what other game are these guys creating? Then, it was Cyberpunk. And then it was like, whoa, that's so cool. Well, and then, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone came out, the expansions, and no, Blood and Wine. Uh, and that was fantastic. That was good. That was a great expansion. People were like, man, what have they got next? And now they released Cyberpunk 2077, and there's stuff that you can do in Fallout 76 that you cannot do in this game. Like,
Which is saying something.
yeah, like in Fallout 76, you can choose where you live, you can change what you look like, and you can have an aesthetic. In this game, your clothes are just random because you just choose what has the best stats. So you can't have any aesthetic or what, you know, is being shown as your apparel. You only live in one apartment, even though the diner trailer was like you need a better car, better house, better spine, you know, all that stuff.
Mm.
Then you just live in one place for the entire game. And you know, you can't change how you look, which is such a radical, dumb change from like just Cyberpunk in general, where like you can change exactly how you look to the point of like removing the bottom half of your face and just replacing it whenever you want to.
Mm.
And I was just like, oh no, oh, that was a horrible animation. I'm so glad I'm recording and got that. And it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And a point that I wanted to touch on, but I didn't in my first video, is that this is obviously like Cyberpunk is based on another game. It's based on Cyberpunk 2020, the you know, tabletop role playing game, which is apparently really good and fantastic. But because of Cyberpunk 2077, I don't know if I ever want to play it.
Mm.
Because while this game is bad and it has given me a Night City to visualize, there's also that part of me that's like, even though it's probably not like this and it's really good, just like, yeah, but are all the choices I have in that game just relegated to this again? Because they follow the same world? I think that Cyberpunk 2077 has kind of damaged 2020 too. Well, you know,
Yeah.
2020 as well. Because like people be like, man, this is based off of something. Oh, this is based off of something? It must
Yeah.
not be great then. And that sucks because like apparently Cyberpunk's really good and it was made by, you know, Mike Pondsmith. And he should be proud of that and like be able to be introduce new players to it. But because of this game, I think it's going to be really hard, if not impossible, to convince some people to come back to the world of Cyberpunk. Another side note is that the bug compilations that I added in that first video, I cut out a lot of bugs. Because if I
Yeah.
kept all the ones that I had in the video, it would have been 35 to 40 minutes easy.
Yeah. And if you could keep the ones that we had, then
Oh, I would have put them in. Because you guys had some great ones. It's. Uh, I was so excited for this game. I was hyping it
yeah,
up to you and Owen.
you
I
were
remember
quite a
that.
lot.
Yeah. Because, well, it wasn't my fault. It was CG Projekt Red hyping it up.
Yeah.
And, like, saying all this shit. And then, like, I even said in, like, you know, the first video that, like, I was embarrassed that I was hyping it up to the point where Owen was like, you know, I might pre-order it or get it on release. And I had to be like, don't get it, don't get it. It's bad. It's real bad.
It's not good.
It's a
Oh dear
broken
God.
mess.
Oh my lord.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Oh Jesus. Oh God.
Oh, I thought a bug that was once in the game was still in the game, but I think this is one that they might have patched.
Way, congrats.
Nope, it's still here.
Alright. I think I think I praised them too early.
Yeah, if you spawn all of the cars that you have, uh, there's like a small chance, like some of them will spawn apart from each other, but like also that man, the physics. Oh, it happened again with the motorcycles.
Oh
The
no.
cars will just spawn inside of each other, and as soon as you get near them, they'll explode. Like, into just each other and different things.
That's
Also,
pleasant.
oh, it's so good. I love this game. another thing I have to add is like the physics is bad. Like I'll run into a street light and instead of falling over like a real street light, or you know what is replicated to be a real street light, like some GTA shit, it instead combusts and like kind of falls over. Instead of like, oh, instead of being like, oh, I'm dragging it with my car, because I still have like some momentum with me of ripping it off the post. It just kind of explodes, and it's like it's made of cotton. It just flies. There was so much hype for this game.
And it just, like, flopped is putting it lightly as well.
Let's put it away. Here's the thing though, Cyberpunk didn't lose money. They won.
Yeah, I mean, they had to refund a lot of it though, didn't they?
That's true, but they at least broke even with like making the game, but they definitely made a profit. And then they made that video that was like, we're sorry. No, it was called Our Commitment to Quality. And they're like, they didn't say sorry. They were, oh, random things just spawned in the front of my car. I've never seen this before. What the fuck?
Oh no.
New bug just dropped. I'm glad I was recording that. That's going in the video. Wait a minute. Get it? Because I'm not making the video essay anymore. This isn't even a video essay. It's just us talking about how bad this game is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never said sorry. They were more like, oh, the console versions aren't representative of final products, but a PC version is good. It was not. Here's the thing. The PC version functioned. Apparently, my dad has a really good PC. He tried playing it, didn't run. It was bad, it was choppy, and like my dad came back after an hour of playing it and was like, I don't like this, and I deleted it. And I was like, yeah, imagine that doing that for 100 hours on a superior, like, not a, like, what's the opposite of superior? I almost said, I almost said superiorly weakly, or superiorly weaker console. The more inferior, like, platform. Oh, I almost fell through the ground again. Oh god, we're back in the loading zone, nothing's loaded.
Hell yeah, welcome to the Twilight Zone, motherfucker.
Do you know what one of my favourite things is? They released a thing like, oh, Witcher 3 next-gen patch and Cyberpunk next-gen patch dropping late 2021. Then pretty soon after, like, if not the same day, CD Projekt Red were like, listen, we don't know if we're going to make the late 2021 deadline for Cyberpunk. And it's just like, why did you set that expectation then? You learned nothing. It's like
try.
It's a modern gaming tragedy.
I would say
like,
they're learning, but then
no. Like there's Aliens Colonial Marines, which is one of the worst games of the generation. Apparently, I haven't really played it. And I think for that generation, we have this. We have Cyberpunk. Are you so glad that we have this game?
Me too. It's my favorite.
Although, without Cyberpunk, we wouldn't have a gauge on how good other games are. Like,
yeah,
they had several years to make this game. And it looks fine, and like here's the thing: when Cyberpunk functions, it looks pretty good. But when mainly it doesn't. I said that while driving over a horrible glitchy road texture.
Of course.
it's... I just don't know how to describe this game.
Me neither. It's something.
It's a Lovecraftian beast of its own making. You look at this for too long and you go insane, which I think is true considering with like no one that would watch the video except for Flying Rat. I love you, Flying Rat. If somehow you remember that I exist, and are watching this, shout out to _Flying Rat _. Yes, I have shouted him out him or her or they out 3 times during this video. They deserve it.
Fucking monarch.
Royalty shit. Oh, here's my ball. That was a hole in the world. You love to see it. Also, big thing at the moment that I only kind of I mentioned for like maybe 3 minutes. Oh, there's a hole in the world. Are we gonna fall in it? No, we're safe this time. CD Projekt Red are still trying to act like nothing happened.
Really?
Well, it's not. They're trying to act too casual about everything. And everyone's like, the game doesn't function. Act like a company for once. Make reasonable decisions. Because, like, they made this patch 1.3 live stream. And, like, for 5 minutes, they're like, oh, look at this cat that's now in the apartment that you can adopt. Look, occasionally it'll move to a new hiding spot. And now you can look in the mirror and scowl. What they needed to do.
Cool, guys.
And also in that live stream there was a T-pose.
Yeah.
Which they tried their hardest to look away from. Which is so funny to me. And like what they should have done was released a video on YouTube, patch 1.3, a 10-minute video showing all the good stuff that they've like added or taken away from the game, like taking away more bugs or stuff, or how it runs better on consoles or even PC. Ooh, pardon me. But no, they did that, and they also hyped up this free DLC. The Witcher had a pretty big DLC during this time, like after like maybe 8 months to a year that it came out. Maybe they're releasing like some new big DLC for free because the game was so bad that they're releasing new story content for free. And it was like, what, a car, 2 jackets, and the Johnny appearance, which I'm still mad at.
Yeah, it's not that pretty.
It's horrible. They didn't even get rid of the worst like thing on Johnny's original appearance, which is that his elbow has a spike on it.
It does it?
Yeah! I pointed out, you didn't watch my video?
I did, I just don't remember.
Yeah, and Johnny has this spike on his elbow. And here's the thing. Obviously Keanu didn't, like, choreograph the scene with, like, 2 pencils strapped to his elbow. So occasionally he'll just be moving and he'll drag his elbow across his thigh, but it just looks like he's carving up his own meat.
Oh, yeah. I just looked at the picture. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. And they also robbed us of having, like, a clean-shaven, mullet-wearing Johnny Silverhand from, like, the 2020 board game without that stupid spike. Oh. Hot topic, look at this. That person disappeared in front of me.
Spooky ghost.
How long have I been recording for? Only about 40 minutes. And I've seen new glitch. Oh, my mini-map is now glitched. That's happening. In order to fix that, I have to, like, close and reopen the game.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Man,
Any more?
wild.
It's indeed wild. Any more glitches you want to talk about? My hotted boobed friend.
Humbra.
Oh, never mind. The menu fixed itself. Matt, it fixed itself. Way to go, CD Projekt Red. Have a cookie. Ugh.
I know I want a fucking cookie.
I do too. I actually remember that this has nothing to do. Well, it's like cookie ice cream. We have that downstairs. Mm. Any more glitches you want to speak of?
I'm trying to. Oh god, there was the Jackie T pose upon his death.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you got that upon his death. He started T-posing.
Yeah.
Whereas I got upon his death, he didn't realize he died.
I thought I was still blinking and
He was like
controlling his nose
smiling.
and
God, Jackie phased through the lockers at the beginning of the game. We all got that, but I think Owen and you got it way worse than me. Whereas, like, mine was just, half of Jackie's body clipped through the lockers. Your Jackie's just walked through the lockers.
yeah, they just
Dogs.
completely went through. Yep, I think my mum said.
Hmm. Yeah, it's... This game... I hope this isn't an offensive term by any means, but it's like the stillbirth of the gaming industry. You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
You shouldn't. It's not allowed.
Damn.
Speak. I'm in like what's supposed to be the most like populated district. At least I think so. No, this isn't. But like, there's supposed to be some cars. There's supposed to be people. Everyone's gone to the rapture. I know you made that joke, but now I'm stealing it.
Motherfucker.
God, this. I cannot describe. Like, I'm not a masochist, but I have played 150 hours of this game. Like, to give some context, Death Stranding is one of my favorite games. I think I only have 140 hours in that at most.
I just can't do that shit with story games. I don't know why. Like, The Last of Us Part 2, that's one of my absolute favorites.
Mm.
But I've only played it through once.
Yeah. Well, for like,
It'll probably stay like that for a long time.
yeah. Well, for Cyberpunk and Death Stranding, there's like always that like side content shit.
Yeah,
But like story-driven games, once you've played it, you know the story.
yeah.
Like Red Dead's the same as like Death Stranding and Cyberpunk, because like there's always a side shit to do in side missions. So I have a good couple, couple tens of hours on that game, and I've replayed through it for like 3 times. And Death Stranding, you just do shit. Like
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, you do whatever, especially in Director's Cut. Now there's like cargo catapults and chiral bridges and shit. It's really cool. But anyways, with this kind of nice view of Night City past this railing, which I think is a little like symbolic of like we'll never get the real Night City that we wanted. It's locked behind those gates. I think I'm just gonna call this video an end.
Yeah.
So that's it really. Aurora is AJ relevancy everywhere, like AJ underscore relevancy.
Oh, get it
YouTube,
right.
Twitter. I'm sorry.
Now put me in the description, god damn it.
Oh, I have to upload it before I can do that, because if I try to do like description stuff on Share Factory, it like doesn't. It's not happy. Also, my car's like jumping and jiving a little bit. It's glitched.
Blingin'.
So yeah, you wanna close this video out? I have a classic, well, a signature sign out, if you will, which is just, with all that said, bye. You wanna give that a shot, champ?
Oh man, I gotta hype myself up for
Yeah, you've got to. Come on, you can do it, champ.
that. Let's go.
You've been training your entire life for this one moment. Your entire life has led to this moment.
With all that said, adios.
You fucked it. You ruined it.
No, no.
You better get it right, lest I bring out the belt. All right.
Oh god, just killed myself.
Oh god. All right. Bye.
Bye.